Good morning. It's so wonderful to be here today and seeing everybody's wonderful smiles and everything. So I'm very grateful to be here today as well with you guys. I had a very interesting week because Friday was Earth Day and I was driving and I got to thinking about all the things I'm very grateful for revolve around the Earth. And I came up with a poem that I thought was real sweet and simple. It goes as each person conserving energy, assisting in protecting our planet, reducing, reusing, and recycling. Together we can save the earth, helping to heal our world. And I thought that was pretty interesting because Friday was Earth Day, so I thought that was pretty cool to bring it today to you guys. Our first song is in the worship song number 10.
Do we have a song leader this morning?
Wait a minute.
No, it's not me.
Now it is time for a reading for Hope and Healing. Miss Linda.
Good morning. It's nice to be here this morning in this room filled with light. In 1900, approximately 40% of Americans lived on farms, compared to about 1% today. And our meeting still has farmers. In spite of the change to a more urban life, many people seek an organic connection to the earth in hobbies such as gardening, nature walks, and even cooking. Through scientific research, the world is learning that time spent in nature can benefit our health, personal health. A flowing river, waves crashing on the shore, or a forest filled with larkspur and mayapples, shadows and light. We know anecdotally that these experiences can bring feelings of awe and help to connect us to a world that is larger than ourselves. Science helps us to know that forest bathing can also lower blood pressure and elevate our mood. Biologist Rachel Carson wrote, "In nature, nothing exists alone. There is no drop of water in the ocean that does not know or respond to the mysterious forces that create the tide." Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch encourages us to think of the world as God's world and ourselves as creatures of God. We must not destroy the world, but preserve it. Every creature, every insect, every plant is part of God's world. Hail to those that preserve God's world.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that. Do we have any announcements? We can go ahead and start with Zoom first. Do you guys have any announcements from Zoom?
It seems like no one on Zoom has any, so I have one. And I see that Lynn's going to announce it also, but I want to remind you all about the pitch-in next week that we're going to have after our guest speaker. And so get all those good recipes out and bring them in. And we expect there'll be a lot of people, so you might bring a couple of things. So that's what I want to tell you about.
And follow up for next Sunday, it's a stewardship Sunday, and we'll refer to a guest. Colin Saxton will be here next Sunday to speak, and he'll actually be doing a presentation at 9 a.m. then too to talk a little bit about stewardship among Quakers. So please plan to come early next week and spend a long time here next week and enjoy learning about and hearing from Colin, and then again in worship service as well.
I'd like to remind you that the April monthly meeting for business will be tonight on Zoom at 7 p.m. You should have already received the link in your email. If you haven't, check that. I think it came last night. So hope to see you then. Thank you. Oh, also, Dinah's reminding me that our USFW is meeting in person. We will be meeting tomorrow in the dining room from 11 to 1. We always have a great time, so all ladies of the church are welcome to join us. We're also continuing that as a hybrid because we have some people that are out of state, as well as others who might not be able to attend in person.
Our stewardship committee, Dave, Randy, and Lynn and I, we all just kind of sat here on purpose, but we're not here to beat you up for your money today. My announcements about the Zoom hosting, and thank you to those who are already helping out, and it's going well. So we do have the signups coming up to those that are already trained for the months of May and June. That'll open on our we will drive after this meeting, so you can sign up if you're already trained. But we still would like 1 or 2 more people to help us. So if you are not yet trained, next Sunday at the Rise of Worship, we'll do another training or walkthrough. It's really easy. It takes about 3 minutes to set up the whole thing. In the beginning, we'd love to have you on the team.
There's no more announcements. Just want to remind everyone that for the offering, there is a place back there for your donation. And also, you can also go to the Fairfield Friends website if you want to make a donation through PayPal as well. Pretty straightforward, but we do appreciate your donation. And also the food basket is back there somewhere, I'm not for sure, for the food pantry as well. Just wanted to give you guys an update on that. But any offering would be greatly appreciated. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing everyone together today. Watch over those who are struggling. Watch over those who have good positive outcomes. And keep everyone in your thoughts and prayers this week. Now it's time for the pastor report. Come on down, Mark.
We're going to have prayer rehearsal. It's not necessarily obligatory, but it is suggested. At the end of the prayer, we're going to sing a little song, and the little song, in the light of an Earth Day observance, the little song goes like this, so join in as you can. Inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rains come a-tumbling down. Think you can handle that? Can you? I'll sing it again. You want to do it with me one more time? All right. Come on. Is that as close as a smile as you ever get to? All right, let's try it. Inch by inch and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch and row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rains come a-tumbling down. Okay, you're good. This is the Pete Seeger version, not the John Denver version. I bid you pray for all the folks who especially need our prayers right now. There's sick folks, there's troubled folks, and folks carrying a whole lot of burdens. I bid you pray for the people who spoke up and all the people they spoke up about. I bid you pray that the war may stop, that Ukraine may know peace, that those poor people may somehow reclaim their lives. I bid you raise your hearts in gratitude for the beauty that surrounds us. You can't make this stuff up. For our garden home, pray that we may take this stuff very seriously. As you pray with me in just a way such as this. Ready? Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna make it fertile grow. Gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rains come tumbling down. This is our Sabbath prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Mark. Now it's the time for our next song in Worship in Psalm page 178.
So if you haven't all guessed, we have an Earth Day theme today. While Phil's taking a break, feeling a little bit under the weather, we thought we'd take advantage since Friday was Earth Day. And we all wanted to celebrate that as part of our testimony of stewardship in a different way. Stewardship and stewardship. Okay. I have to take the glasses off so I can see. Oh, am I not picking up? Okay, is that better? Okay, thank you. All right. I could hear myself. In 1693, William Penn wrote, which I think is interesting, 1693, "It would go a long way to caution and direct people in their use of the world, that they were better studied and knowing in the creation of it. For how could they find the confidence to abuse it, while they should see the great Creator stare them in the face, in all and every part of it?" 1693, I think that's interesting. So, in Linda's wonderful message of hope and healing, she mentioned Rachel Carson. And in 1962, Rachel Carson, her book Silent Spring was published, and that paved the way for the first Earth Day that occurred in 1970. And on the Earth Day website, I find it extremely interesting. One thing that they point out on the website is it said the Earth Day in 1970 achieved a rare political alignment, enlisting support from Republicans and Democrats, rich and poor, urban dwellers and farmers, business and labor leaders. By the end of 1970, the first Earth Day led to the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the passage of other first-of-their-kind environmental laws, including the National Environmental Education Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, or OSHA, and the Clean Air Act. 2 years later, Congress passed the Clean Water Act. A year after that, Congress passed the Endangered Species Act, and soon after that, the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, which I have to admit I'm not really clear on what that is. I didn't have time to look it up. These laws have protected millions of men and women and children from disease and death and have protected hundreds of species from extinction. And the Earth Day, the first Earth Day, stemmed all of this legislation. So I think it's a really important day for that reason, but also for what it means to us today. And, unfortunately, the fight for the clean environment continues with increasing urgency as the ravages of climate change become more and more apparent every day. Sherry Mitchell, a Native American attorney and activist for human rights and environmental protection rights. The indigenous view of Earth is that everything is interconnected and interdependent. The well-being of the whole determines the well-being of any individual part. We recognize that connection in our prayers and the understanding that the whole is shifted by every action of each individual. There is one life, one breath that we all breathe. Therefore, when we take any action out in the world, even when we pray for ourselves, we impact all life. This belief forms the foundational understanding that weaves through all other indigenous values. It's the thread that ties them all together. And for me, that reminds me of our testimonies of simplicity, peace, integrity, community, equality, and stewardship. Chakie is a Wabanaki word meaning harmony with the natural world. This teaches us that it is not enough to know that we are part of one living system. We must also take active steps to live in harmony with the rest of creation. This means that we cannot adopt attitudes or beliefs that place us above the natural world. We cannot see ourselves as having dominion over the land, the water, or the animals. We can't even see ourselves as being stewards of the earth. We are only keepers of a way of life that is in harmony with the earth. Every day we must act in ways that acknowledge that we are part of one living system, a unified whole. This understanding is very different than the belief that human beings are chosen above all others. That view creates countless distortions that not only elevate humanity inappropriately, but also diminish the rest of creation. The world is one unified system. It cannot be separated into fragmented, saleable parts. The Eurocentric view of property ownership requires us to see the land as being disconnected from us. This view separates us from the source of life. The indigenous view recognizes the land as kin, as part of the lineage of life that we are all connected to. Thus, we have an obligation to care for the land in the same way that we would care for our human relatives. In September of 2020, Quaker Earth Care Witness published a shared Quaker statement on facing the challenge of climate change. And as everybody knows, I've been quite involved with Quaker Earth Care Witness lately, and I enjoyed this on their website, and I wanted to share it because I feel that this pulls together a lot of concepts, and so this is what's on the Quaker Earth Care Witness website. This statement was signed on by several Quaker organizations. As Quakers, we are called to work for the peaceable kingdom of God on the whole earth. In right sharing with all peoples, we recognize a moral duty to cherish creation for future generations. We call on our leaders to make the radical decisions needed to create a fair, sufficient, and effective international climate change agreement. As Quakers, we understand climate change to be a symptom of a greater challenge: how to live sustainably and justly on this earth. We recognize that the current rise of greenhouse gas emissions is leading to an unprecedented rate of increase in the global average surface temperature of extreme detriment to the Earth's ecosystems and species, including human beings. We recognize that catastrophic global change, climate change, is not inevitable if we choose to act urgently. We recognize a personal and collective responsibility to ensure that the poorest and most vulnerable peoples now and all our future generations do not suffer as a consequence of our actions. We see this as a call to conscience. We recognize the connections between climate change and global economic injustice, as well as unprecedented levels of consumption, and question assumptions of unlimited material growth on a planet with limited natural resources. We recognize that most anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions, meaning those created by human activity, are created by fossil fuel combustion. We recognize that our increasing population continues to pursue fossil fuel dependent economic growth. We recognize that the earth holds more fossil fuel reserves than are safe to burn, and that the vast majority of fossil fuel reserves must remain in the ground if we are to prevent the catastrophic consequences of climate change. We therefore question profoundly the continued investment in and subsidizing of fossil fuel extraction. We seek to nurture a global human society that prioritizes the well-being of people over profit and lives in the right relationship with our earth, a peaceful world with fulfilling employment, clean air and water, renewable energy, and healthy, thriving communities and ecosystems. As members of this beautiful human family, we seek meaningful commitments from our leaders and ourselves to address climate change for our shared future, the earth and all species and the generations to come. We see this earth as a stunning gift that supports life. It is our only home. Let us care for it together. So, one of the things that I really wanted to share today, and it's something that I've kind of gone back to time I found it. Everyone's familiar with Amanda Gorman with her inauguration address. But Amanda Gorman also has a poem called Earthrise that I think is just wonderful. And I'm going to recite Earthrise. I am certainly no Amanda Gorman, but I think her words speak for themselves. And I would encourage everyone to look it up. There is a YouTube video of her performance of Earthrise. So I'm going to recite Earthrise, and then what we're going to do is we have a little video that we're going to view, and this is just a video of the beauty of our planet and our environment. So we'll view the video as we center into silent worship. This is Earthrise, Amanda Gorman. On Christmas Eve 1968, astronaut Bill Anders snapped a photo of the Earth as Apollo 8 orbited the moon. Those three guys were surprised to see from their eyes our planet looked like an Earthrise, a blue orb hovering over the moon's gray horizon with deep oceans and silver skies. It was our world's first glance at itself, our first chance to see a shared reality, a declared stance, and a commonality. A glimpse into our planet's mirror, and as threats drew nearer, our own urgency became clearer as we realized that we hold nothing dearer than this floating body we all call home. We've known that we're caught in the throes of climactic changes some say will just go away, while some simply pray to survive another day. For it is the obscure, the oppressed, the poor, who, when the disaster is declared done, still suffer more than anyone. Climate change is the single greatest challenge of our time. Of this you're certainly aware. It's saddening, but I cannot spare you from knowing an inconvenient fact, because it's getting the facts straight that gets us to act and not to wait. So I tell you this not to scare you, but to prepare you, to dare you, to dream a different reality. Where despite disparities, we all care to protect this world, this riddled blue marble, this little true marvel, to muster the verve and the nerve to see how we can serve our planet. You don't need to be a politician to make it your mission to conserve, to protect, to preserve that one and only home that is ours, to use your unique power to give next generations the planet they deserve. We are demonstrating, creating, advocating. We heed this inconvenient truth because we need to be anything but lenient with the future of our youth. And while this is a training in sustaining the future of our planet, there is no rehearsal. The time is now, now, now. Because the reversal of harm and protection of a future so universal should be anything but controversial. So Earth, pale blue dot, we will fail you not. Just as we chose to go to the moon, we know it's never too soon to choose hope. We choose to do more than cope with climate change. We choose to end it. We refuse to lose. Together we do this and more, not because it's very easy or nice, but because it's necessary. Because with every dawn we carry the weight of the fate of this celestial body orbiting a star. And as heavy as that weight sounded, it doesn't hold us down, but it keeps us grounded, steady, ready, because an environmental movement of this size is simply another form of an earthrise. To see it, close your eyes. Visualize that all of us leaders in this room and outside of these walls or in the halls, all of us change makers are in a spacecraft, floating like a silver raft in space, and we see the face of our planet anew. We relish the view, we witness its round green and brilliant blue, which inspires us to ask deeply, wholly, what can we do? Open your eyes, know that the future of this wise planet lies right in sight, right in all of us. Trust this earth uprising. All of us bring light to exciting solutions never tried before, for it is our hope that implores us at our uncompromising core to keep rising up for an earth more than worth fighting for. Thank you. All hearts are clear. Let's stand for the last song, Near My God to Thee, worship in song number 172. Well, I don't have a closing prayer. Go ahead, then please. What's that?
On Tuesday, Phil called, and if you were here last week, you realized he had a really hard time talking. And he said he was so weak he couldn't think about doing a prayer or during a sermon. So we thought, well, we'll get something together. A few hours later, Anita texts me and says, do you think it'd be too late to do something about birthday? And I said, you got it. You got it.
I just said a video, that's all.
If you have a suggestion about something, you may get in more than you can get. So I want to thank Anita. I want to thank
Let's keep
Happy to do it. It was wonderful to celebrate Earth Day, and thank you, everybody, for hearing the words. We can all turn and greet each other.